This is the current Butte County Humane Society. It's located on the outskirts of Chico. This property is over 5,500 square feet and it's owned by the city of Chico, who leases it to the Butte County Humane Society.
Well, there are pieces of the shelter that were built in the 70s or earlier. I know that the back part of the shelter, I think, was built in like the 50s, I believe. I don't know exactly. The property is actually owned by the city. We used to own the front part of the buildings, and then we ended up selling to the city and we lease it from them. So, you know, we basically have outgrown the shelter years and years and years ago. At one point, you know, probably 50 years ago, this was probably a totally fine shelter, but since we switched to being a low-kill shelter, meaning we just don't give timelines to animals, this shelter is just not equipped to handle the amount of animals we have. It's not ideal to have animals outside. We shouldn't be having to house dogs outside, so our dream would be to have all indoor runs for all of our pets.
Okay. What are some of the health or sanitation problems that you need to get away from?
The ventilation system here is awful. Basically everyone's breathing in the same air, so you know, our sick cat room is not isolated enough. The air circulation is just going throughout the whole shelter. The old cages we have are not ideal for cleaning. They harbor a lot of illnesses. The outside runs, of course, because they're on dirt, a lot of illnesses can stick around in there.
Okay. If you guys had a bigger, better shelter, would your kill rate actually go down?
If we had a bigger and better shelter, yes, our cat euthanasia rates would go down significantly. In the summertime, we just don't have enough space for them all, and although we don't euthanize for space, we will have to euthanize if they get sick, and we don't have enough room for them. Basically, the big problem with the cats is they will come in and they'll be healthy, but because we're having to house them so closely together in such inadequate housing, they'll get stressed, they'll hear the dogs barking, it'll bring up an upper respiratory infection, and we don't have enough room in our sick ward to house them all, so some of them will be euthanized for upper respiratory infections.
So, the Humane Society really needs a new shelter. I know it's expensive, but it's doable. There's a lot of people that support the shelter. There's a lot of people that really care about the animals. But the shelter is just on the outskirts of town, and so it's really easy to forget about them. You know, from Zoo 2, they got a lot of support from the Zoo 2 thing, and actually we got second place for that, and that money did go toward remodeling and buying some much needed equipment, but it wasn't enough. We still need more space, and we need just cleaner facilities, cleaner walls. The cement porous walls are not sanitary. And the shelter believes that if they had a better location within town, there'd be a higher adoption rate. First of all, it's proven that if a shelter is more within the city limits in areas where there's like businesses and such, then they have higher adoption rates. But also having a cleaner facility with like stainless steel walls and such makes contamination of sicknesses and viruses less likely, and the less sick animals they have, the less they have to put down. So those two things combined, making a higher adoptability rate and also making less low kill rate, is just very needed.
She was not happy.
Are you the one adopting the pig?
Yeah.
Sweet. How did you hear about it?
Well, I saw her posted on the website.
Do you check the website often?
Usually when I'm looking, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with her?
Love her.
She's just going to be a companion for my other one at home. You really need to have them in pairs.
Well, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to help out, then look under the BHS tab and trade up for something bigger and better until we can actually get a new shelter for the Humane Society.